Here we are, a couple of weeks after we washed the bulbs and dried them out. The bulbs have been in the sunlight quite a bit of the time, but in the garage some of the time too, because the weather here is extraordinarily cold for the season. And so what you want to happen during that time is you want the bulbs to cure. And what happens is the area where the roots were attached lets go, and sometimes you have to dig it out a little bit, but the old bulb that shrivels up and dies because of the new bulb, it's still attached, and you want to take that off so that the bulbs have a chance to cure. So although I'm using the clippers now to get at that root cap, I have we used to use antique corn huskers, and I've got one of them on the way, so we may do a little bit of recording when that comes. But that root cap is right there, and so what you want to do is get right next to it and kind of pop it out, so that's the way the bulb looks when you get done. Now sometimes it comes out all by itself, and you can see. So this bulb produced two bulbs. One bulb that started out, and of course glads are not bulbs, they're corms. They have buds on the sides of the bulbs all the way around, so if the top one doesn't grow, the side ones start out, and so that's how you get two bulbs on one corm, or one bulb. So you just peel it off. Usually they pop out a little easier, but you have to be careful when you're using a sharp instrument rather than a dull one. And so we just keep going at it. One thing you want to watch out for when you're doing this is once in a while you'll find a bulb that has a really dark bottom to it, like this one and this one, and that is probably that's probably some disease, and so those bulbs will discard. We're not going to use them next year because the funguses, that the fungi that bother glads is a soil fungi that name of it is Pythium, and it overwinters in the soil, and that's why we don't plant the glads back on the same soil that we had them last year. We rotate them just like we do in the garden. We rotate so that we don't build up disease in a certain spot. So you can see we got the nice bottom there. And another double. Sometimes when you pull the roots off that cap that's on the inside there, it comes out. Other times you have to dig it out. So you don't want to go too deep in the bulb because you don't want to injure the bulb. The other thing that I'm trying to do while I go along here is the bulbs not only produce another new bulb, but they produce little bulbs on the side of the glads, and those are called cormlets or bulblets. And if they're about the size of a pea, they'll grow next year and will produce a bulb. Well, let's see, about this size in 1 year. And then you can plant that back, and then you get the nice big bulbs. The other thing next spring when I'm getting these out is some of them I'm going to split in two, because these big bulbs, they have, if you peel the husk off from them, they have buds all the way around. When you cut it in two, you make two nice sized bulbs. You want to let them sit out in a warm room for about a week to heal over that injury that you did to it. But you can double the number of bulbs that you have if you've got big bulbs. I think this is about the size, the smallest size that I would cut in half. If they're smaller than that, they probably wouldn't do much. So here we have a double again. And you get 2 bulbs from that 1 bulb. Now, storing the bulbs. I think I showed you the screen bottom flats that we used in washing the bulbs. Some of them I will store in those flats because they really are the perfect way to store them, because what you want to do with glads during the winter is keep ventilation around them, and by having that screen bottom and having a little bit of air moving in the area that you're storing them, that will keep the bulbs from deteriorating. But if you don't have screen bottom flats, this is the way we're going to store them. These are mesh bags that we use for potatoes in the springtime when we send out the 3-pounders, and it works really well for the glads. So what we're going to do is take the glads once we have them ready to go into the bags and fill the bags about 3/4 full. When that bag is ready to go in storage, and then I'll show you where I'm going to store them for the winter. Here they are in the screen bottom flats, and we'll store them right in the garage here. My garage is heated. I keep the thermostat set at 45 degrees so that it stays warm in the garage, or at least it doesn't freeze. So the glads will be perfectly fine there. The ones that I store in the bags, we'll be storing them on these hooks that are attached to the storage rack. And they'll stay there over winter. I'll check them once in a while just to make sure that they're storing all right, but that's the way you store glads. Well, it's been a couple of weeks since we did the original glad harvest video, and I got the tool that I talked about. It's actually an antique corn husker, and you can see from the shape of the beak on it, it's not sharp, which is great because you don't want to injure the bulb when you're doing this. And so because they're even a little more dry, they're kind of easier to even get out. So you just put the corn husker under the cap, and you can see how easily that came out. So that's the way you want to have the glads. Now there's a little moisture in there, so we're going to let those bulbs dry out for a week or so. Here are one of the double bulbs, and with those you can just peel them off. In fact, most of the bulbs you can just peel that out, but this if you've got one that doesn't have any roots on it and you want to get that cap out of there, just dig it out. I'm not going to get one out. This one, the cap's been removed. Yeah, having a couple more weeks to dry makes this process much easier. They just pop right out. This is Dick Zondag, the garden doctor, hoping that your glads will do as well as mine next spring and summer.